The movie begins with a voice narrating the dark state of the world. Earth has been completely destroyed, and terrifying monsters now rule over it. In an effort to survive, humans built a city in the sky called Sky Ark, floating high between Earth and the heavens. At first, Sky Ark seemed like a new beginning for humanity, but over time, it became overcrowded. There wasn't enough room for everyone. So the leaders decided to throw out the poor and the orphans. Anyone who dared to resist or speak out had their children marked and sent down to Earth as punishment. On the surface of this dangerous, monster-filled world, the outcasts tried to survive. Some of them formed a resistance, a small team dedicated to fighting the creatures. Their leader gave them a reason to keep going. He spread a story, a legend, that one day a boy with 13 marks would appear and save them all. Then the story cuts to a small spaceship crashing onto Earth. Inside it is a teenage boy named Rags. He survives the crash and is soon discovered by Rusty, who takes him back to their hidden camp of survivors. Once they arrive, the people at the camp notice something incredible. Rags has 13 marks on his hand, just like the boy from the prophecy. Everyone is amazed and starts cheering, thinking their savior has finally arrived. But before they can celebrate, a monster suddenly attacks. Rusty hands Rags a bow and arrow and tells him to fight. Rags tries, but he doesn't know how to use it properly and struggles. Just when things look bad, a skilled girl named Ash steps in and kills the monster, saving Rags. Later, Rusty explains more about the monsters. He says they live in an old broken building near the camp. During the new moon, the monsters become weak. That's when the team usually goes out to hunt them. He also tells Rags about a strange glowing blue liquid the monsters carry. It's called the Blue Drop, and it has the power to heal any injury instantly. That night, Rags begins thinking about his past. His father, still in Sky Ark, had once been pressured by the officers there to reveal someone's name. But his father refused to betray anyone. Because of his silence, they executed him. As a further punishment, they marked Rags and sent him down to Earth. The following day, a girl named Lily takes Rags outside the camp to show him around and help him get familiar with the area. While they're gone, her younger sister, Amber, wanders off with her friend Birdie. The two girls go too far from the safety of the camp, not realizing how dangerous it is. Unfortunately, monsters find them. They attack, and both girls are taken. A while later, Amber somehow escapes and returns to the camp. She's hurt, terrified, and shaken. Through tears, she tells everyone that the monsters captured Birdie. She also says something that hurts even more. Birdie believed Rags would come and save them, but he never showed up. These words hit hard, especially for Ash. She feels betrayed and let down. Angry and upset, she walks away and tells Rusty that bringing Rags here was a mistake. She says he gave everyone false hope by believing in a legend. Rags, feeling the weight of guilt, asks Rusty if there's any way they can help Birdie. Rusty tells him there might be a chance, but only if they can get the Blue Drop, the glowing liquid that monsters carry. It's powerful and might be able to heal Birdie or even save her life. Without wasting time, Rags and Rusty decide to go after the Blue Drop. They head toward the old building where the monsters live and carefully sneak inside. But as soon as they step in, a female monster attacks them. The fight is intense, but somehow they manage to escape and move deeper into the structure. There they find another monster. This one is chained. At first it looks helpless, but suddenly it breaks free and attacks. Rusty doesn't hesitate. He charges in to fight the monster directly, while Rags tries to help by sneaking up from behind. But the monster is too strong. It knocks Rags to the ground in a single blow. Then the creature snaps its chains and grabs Rusty. Rags tries to stop it. He grabs hold of the chain and pulls with all his strength, but it's no use. The monster is too powerful. It drags Rusty away into the darkness. Overwhelmed by fear and helplessness, Rags panics. Instead of chasing after them, he runs back to the camp, heart pounding. When he returns, he sees Lily talking softly to herself. She's repeating the words, "Rags will save us." Hearing that breaks him inside. He knows he failed when it mattered most. Burdened with guilt and shame, he walks back to the wreckage of the spaceship he came in, the one that brought him to Earth. Sometime later, Rags steps out of his ship and tries to erase the 13 marks on his hand, but he can't. Frustrated, he wraps his hand in cloth and falls asleep outside. While he's sleeping, a small ship from Sky Ark crashes nearby. A young boy named Skunk comes out of it and lies down beside Rags. When Rags wakes up and sees him, he asks, "Why are you here?" Skunk replies that he was sent by people who were against Sky Ark's leader. They wanted him to find the boy with 13 marks because everyone is still waiting for him to return. However, Rags doesn't tell Skunk that he is that boy. Skunk explains that there's a camera hidden in his eye, and everything he sees is being recorded. He begs Rags to teach him how to fight. Rags agrees and starts training him. While Rags is teaching Skunk how to fight, Lily arrives and takes Rags back to camp. She angrily tells him that the monsters attacked again and killed many people, yet he did nothing to stop them. Rags apologizes, but Lily leaves without saying anything else. After she's gone, Rags realizes that Lily must have gone to the monster building alone to find the blue drop. Worried for her safety, Rags and Skunk rush to the building to find her. As soon as they enter, a monster attacks them again. But just in time, Ash shows up and holds up a mirror to the monster. When the monster sees its reflection, it runs away in fear. Ash tells them that monsters are terrified of strange or twisted faces. Meanwhile, Lily is also inside the monster building, hiding quietly in a corner. But eventually, a monster finds her and takes her away. The scene then shifts back to Rags and the others. Ash leads them to a secret hideout and tells them she's going to live there now instead of returning to the camp. While they are there, Rags notices a broken piece of Rusty's arm lying nearby. Shocked, he asks Ash where Rusty is. Ash replies coldly that Rags left Rusty to die, so she has no idea where he is now. Rags says they should find Lily and restart the camp, but Ash replies that everything is already over. There's nothing left to rebuild. Despite that, the three of them decide to go out and fight the monsters again. They soon find another monster. Ash tries to wrap its chain around it to trap it, but the monster overpowers her. Just then, Rags rushes in and drives his sword deep into the monster's mouth, killing it. After the fight, Ash says she doesn't want to keep killing monsters anymore. Rags tells her that if she refuses to fight, she'll always have to live in hiding. He asks her to stay with them, but Ash walks away without saying another word. Meanwhile, Lily wakes up and manages to escape from the monster that had captured her. She runs away on her own, saving herself. The next day, Rags finds a poster that reveals a shocking truth. Sky Ark is the one that created the monsters. They imprison people on Sky Ark and send children down to Earth as food for the monsters. Rags now understands that his father was fighting against Sky Ark, and that's why they killed him. Just then, another monster shows up. Rags turns to Skunk and says, "To beat the monsters, we have to become like them." They both put on strange masks with creepy faces to scare the monsters. When the monster approaches, Rags attacks. The monster is startled by the mask but still tries to fight back. Before it can strike Rags, Skunk jumps in from behind. Together, they manage to defeat and kill the monster just in time. After that, they begin searching for the blue drop. On the other side, Lily also prepares herself. She smears black paint on her face and starts acting like a monster to blend in, hoping that the real monsters won't attack her. As Rags and Skunk are walking, they find Lily's bag. Rags picks it up and moves ahead, but suddenly Skunk's foot gets caught in a chain. Rags tries to help him, but a monster drags Skunk away. Rags is heartbroken. He checks Lily's bag and finds items belonging to the other kids from the camp. This reminds him of his mission, and he sets out to fight the monsters again. Suddenly, two monsters appear. One of them comes very close to Rags but doesn't see him. Rags takes the chance and kills it with his sword. The second monster attacks him, but Rags dodges and strikes from behind, killing it too. Then a third monster shows up holding a chain. It catches Rags, but he manages to trap the chain and kill the monster. Meanwhile, Lily is walking alone and sees a shadow. She turns to run but sees that it's Rags. Rags approaches her, looking like he might attack, so Lily tries to defend herself. But they both stop just in time and realize who the other is. Lily is overjoyed to see Rags again. Then she notices a blue drop nearby, and they go toward it. Just then, they see another shadow. It turns out to be Rusty, who has now become a monster. Rags finally understands everything. The monsters he had been fighting were actually the kids from the camp, transformed by something called the blue drop. Everyone believed the blue drop healed wounds, but it was really turning them into monsters. Rusty drinks the blue drop and tells Rags and Lily that they should join him and become monsters too, saying the pain will go away if they do. He offers them the blue drop, but Rags refuses. Rusty then tells the other monsters to attack them and walks away. Suddenly, Aish appears and starts fighting the monsters. Lily and Rags jump in to help her. They don't kill the monsters, but then to everyone's shock, Rusty kills one of the monsters himself. Aish tells Rags and Lily to leave immediately, and then fires an arrow at Rusty. This makes Rusty furious, and he starts chasing Aish, but she somehow manages to escape. Meanwhile, Rags tries to attack Rusty from behind, but Rusty punches him hard in the face, injuring him. Rusty then begins to strangle Lily. At that moment, Rags remembers something he once said: to defeat a monster, you have to become one. With that thought, he takes a marble from his pocket and drops it into the blue drop. The marble soaks it up, and Rags puts it in his mouth. Instantly, he transforms into a monster too. Now, a huge and intense battle begins between Rags and Rusty. The fight is brutal and goes on for a while, but in the end, Rags overpowers Rusty and knocks him to the ground. However, he doesn't kill him. Instead, Rags begs Rusty to regain control of himself and remember who he is, their leader. But Rusty refuses to listen and attacks again. During their fight, the building pillars start collapsing. Rags tells Aish to take Lily and escape quickly. Then a large metal drum falls on Rags. He lifts it with great effort and again urges Aish and Lily to leave. Just then, Rusty grabs the drum too and tells Rags, "Take them and go before I lose control." Reluctantly, Rags listens and leaves. Rusty sacrifices himself by letting the heavy drum fall on him, giving his friends a chance to survive. Outside, the three finally escape the building and find themselves on a beautiful beach. Moments later, Aish brings Skunk, who turns out to be alive. Seeing him, Rags is overjoyed. As they all sit on the beach, Rags looks at the sky and says, "The real monster is up there. We're going to Sky Ark now, and we'll finish what my father started." He then tells Skunk that his mission is complete because Rags has all 13 marks. He removes the cloth from his hand and shows the marks. Skunk's eye camera transmits the marks back to the Sky Ark Resistance, the ones who gave Skunk his mission. Seeing the signal, the Resistance now knows Skunk succeeded. They begin heading toward the group to pick them up, which hints at a possible part 2 of this story. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this explanation. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to support me. I'll see you in the next explanation video. Until then, thank you for watching, friends.